quite a few people are not going to believe this, but it's really not my purpose to lure um, people who were acquainted with the victims in Uvalde to my various prattlings about the situation. I realize that my complaint concerns cyber stalking, which apparently is easy for computer wizards, and a hybrid game of PlayStation militia warfare has emerged as a concern about things that might be happening in our society that presumably are difficult to stop. I mean, you can't really bank that it's difficult to stop. It may be that the FBI is just standing in the window watching, playing peep of things that they could stop in the manner that the police in Uvalde did. Another thing that goes around is um, conspiracy theories, should can lead to more demented things and copycat crimes. What I suggest, if that's your concern with my videos, is you talk to the perpetrators. I'm a weaponless, defenseless man who was tortured. What I want to do is discuss the psychology that was brought to grips on me to make me mincemeat of me. Piecemeal, they would say in cyber stalking language. Um, the perpetrators are primarily Yoko Ono and the Green Party, who've developed a wheel of chaptings, one after another, because they're collectors of their stories. Amanda Harcourt is the principal. I wrote to the Washington State Bar Association, and they denied having such an attorney registered here. But she's on Peter Gabriel's album, so and she's a registered attorney for Yoko Ono, and it's not like she doesn't exist. Anybody can look her up. Amanda Harcourt is in the web, and she's criminally insane. She pulls off chapter after chapter after chapter with the help of these Looney Tunes who use the invisible Lenin story. I mean, talk to them if you want to, because I have no choice but to try to set the record straight. I really don't have any choice. They do the same thing whether I do or don't, and they have said that and demonstrated that if I try to clam up, they will loosen my tongue by bystander homicide. So I mean, I have. I'm not. The last thing in the world I want to be doing is talking about this kind of thing. I have tons of other things I'd rather be doing, tons of them. But James Child showed up from Bowling Green State University at the University of Pittsburgh when I was just proselytizing. What are we wasting all this money for when people are starving and the planet is in danger? And he hit me with this thing: pacifism is immoral. And he said, "Do you believe that people are just things?" I'd heard that before from the Carl brothers. They grew up very Catholic and extolled, their brother who died saving somebody. Oh, you don't have a life until you've given your life. You Major General Thos Lane criticized Kennedy for trying to preserve life in peace because peace only existed when people were in spiritual combat. War was peace. And he didn't see it as Orwellian. Well, this is where the Carls come from. They want to stamp out conscientious objection. Biden is the same way. If you conscientious object to something, you're in really big trouble because you're going to start losing things that you love and so on. So I have this book from when, you know, before the Ukraine war broke out because I wanted to understand the idea of where international law and humanitarian interventions came from. And it's like a structured metaphor, if they're total strangers from another nation and there's no national interest, usually people would just stand there and watch. So, you know, um, everybody who Salvador talks to me knows I got this book. I got it from Amazon. So it's and they issue these trigger warnings. Don't trigger something. Don't go online and tell people what's going on because it'll just make it worse. But nobody comes out and talks to me about it. They don't have a deaf counselor calling me up and saying, "We understand that you were tortured." Nope. You can say they used a nerve agent on me. Oh, do you want to get people's attention? They said. One time somebody told me they were getting people's attention for me. Don't do me that favor. I don't want you to hurt people so to get attention put on me. But that's the game of, Amanda Harcourt and Yoko Ono. That's what they're doing. Don't fool yourself. This is not some master play of peace by the people who are the good guys. That's for sure. You would hope it takes something less extreme to convince people of that. I certainly am not trying to convince anybody by bloodshed that they should be paying more attention to me. I'm just going about my business and doing my duty to testify. And I wish recovery and help, awareness, and some sort of it's acceptance isn't even in the cards. I mean, nobody can accept what's stuff. It's not even the conditioned responses are useless. What I would propose doing is going back to the old doggerel of Bork and Reagan about founding fathers' original intent and reform the Second Amendment to reflect the original intent for people to have muskets in the homes to protect themselves from home invasions, practical firearms, you know, not this goblin warfare. And, tracing it, I could sit here and trace my beliefs about what happened, but it wouldn't do any good. I mean, it's enough that I think it was the Green Party. There were indications. People don't know how to describe what they see, I guess. There were some indications that some of the parents noted some things that got them threatened by the police. I'm in the same boat. It's not responsible management of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Some deeply deviant from the purpose of protecting our society as it work in administration. I'm not calling for an insurrection. I'm just saying that, I'm trying to embody the laws as they were laid down and saying, well, it's not really working, but I got poison in the mouth and stuff by an organization that's supposed to protect safety of people who are in recovery. I was in recovery there from trauma. They poisoned me in the mouth. I was refused permission to go to school for 12 years. When I finally escaped this facility, I made honors, graduated Phi Theta Kappa. What gives? Am I calling suspicion on them? You bet I am. This is the network.